Math 1101, Intro to Math Modeling. I am Dawn Hopkins. I'll be your instructor. Um, Normally, I'd be going through this face-to-face, but obviously the weather has canceled our face-to-face classes for today. So instead, I'm going to create this video just kind of walking you through what I would normally be doing today in class. Before I get into BlazeView and how I have it set up, I do want to talk about the class. Math modeling is a technology-driven, applications-based version of college algebra. What that means in plain English is that we're going to use graphing calculators to solve equations that model real-world situations. So instead of just getting an equation like x plus 4 equals 7 and solving for x, we will actually model situations that would arise in the actual real world. So that's what we're going to do in math modeling. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the class and kind of walk you through BlazeView and how I have that set up. For the first day of class, I do have BlazeView streamlined, and I've kept things fairly simple. When you first log into BlazeView for this class, your homepage is going to look very similar to this. What you're going to see at the top of the page are the announcements, and then underneath that will be the content modules. I want to start with the announcements. I will post announcements on a regular basis throughout the semester. For the most part, these announcements are going to be reminders of things that I've shared in class, like due dates for a quiz or when a test is coming. Announcements will always post to the top of the BlazeView homepage, but you can dismiss an announcement by clicking on the X. When you dismiss an announcement, you are not deleting that announcement permanently, you're just getting rid of it from the homepage. You can always see past announcements in the class by clicking on the communication tab and then going to announcements. When you go to announcements this way, it will have the newest announcement on top, and then the rest of them will be beneath that. I do want to make note of one thing. I do not typically send out mass class emails. Instead, I will post announcements to BlazeView. If I need to reach the class as a whole for some reason, I will post an announcement to BlazeView rather than send an email. That's for various reasons, not the least of which being that people tend to delete emails sometimes without reading them. The best way to stay up to date with your announcements in BlazeView is by getting the Brightspace Pulse app, and I will talk more about that in just a little bit. Now, sticking with this course homepage here, I do want to very briefly discuss this box here on the right that says Day 1 Course Materials. This class is part of the Day 1 program at VSU. And what that means is that you do not need to go to the bookstore and buy a physical textbook. You do not need to go and buy an access code for this class. Instead, you will automatically have access to an ebook and the online software that we're going to use from day 1. That's why it's called that. This is not something that you need to enroll in. You are automatically enrolled when you sign up for the class. You probably don't even need to click on the link here where it says click here to access your Day 1 course materials. I actually have the links embedded in the course. The way this program works is that there is a fee for the software that will just be applied to your VSU account. But because of the way we have this program set up, the fee is cheaper than if you were to have to buy this on your own. Math textbooks typically range between $200 and $300, and we're able, with this Day 1 program, to get the cost under $100 for everybody. So it really is a win-win situation. Now, like I said, this is an automatic program, this Day 1 program. You don't need to do anything. You are already part of it. There is a way that you can manually opt out. Please do not opt out of this program because you would still need to purchase the access to MyMathLab, but it would cost you more money. So you do not want to opt out. And in case anybody worries, it is a manual opt out, so you cannot opt out by accident, okay? You're automatically in, so you don't need to worry about it. You actually, from this point on, you can completely ignore this box over here where it says Day 1 course materials. Everything else is good to go within the BlazeView class. Now, staying with this homepage here, underneath the announcements, I've got some content modules, and there will be more modules added. On Thursday, you're going to see a module with some class notes. You'll see the Chapter 1 material will be added. These links here are going to take you to content in the course. You can access the content just by clicking, in this case, Start Here or the MyMathLab student links, or you go up toward the top of the page and you go to Content. It's going to take you to the same information. You just have two ways to access it. I'm going to start with Start Here, if that makes sense. Now, by the time you're watching this video, the Start Here module is going to have a couple more links. It's going to have a link to the video that you're currently watching, and it's going to have a link to a bit of a transcript or a script for this video. So you will have two more links in addition to what I'm showing here. But I want to go through the 4 links that I do have posted. And I'm going to do these slightly out of order. I'm going to actually start with this Brightspace Pulse. So earlier I mentioned getting that app if you don't already have it. It is completely free, and it gives you access to BlazeView directly from your phone. That way, if your professor posts things like announcements to your BlazeView class, it will show up on your phone as a notification. It is very handy to have. If you click the Brightspace Pulse link, it's going to take you, it's a long file, but it takes you to a lot of information about the app and how to log into it and what's included. But you can find it just by going to the App Store for your phone and just typing in or searching Brightspace Pulse. And like I said, it is completely free. Now, the other thing I want to point out here before I get to the syllabus, which is going to take a little bit more time, is this link to Desmos. So I did mention at the very beginning of this video that we will use graphing calculators in this class. And in class, I will specifically be using the Texas Instrument TI-84 calculator, though if you already have a TI-83, they're very similar. You don't need to worry about getting another calculator. And I do recommend that everyone gets a graphing calculator for this class, especially if you're going to also be taking Math 1401, which is our Intro to Stats class. You will need to use that graphing calculator in there as well. But the price of graphing calculators has increased in the past few years, so I know that not everybody might have the means to purchase one right at the start of the semester. So what I've done is I've included a link to Desmos, which is a free online graphing calculator that you can use until you're able to purchase one. Now, I want to look at the syllabus, and I am not going to read through the entire syllabus in this video, but I do recommend that you read through it or at least skim it at some point today, and I will have hard copies to hand out in class on Thursday. So just kind of briefly going through things, the top of the information is how to contact me. The best way is by email, though you can call if you want to. You can call my office phone, or you can stop by during office hours. Got some information about the textbook and just some general course information, what we're going to cover in here. Most people, though, are interested in how grading is going to work. You're going to be graded across 4 categories: homework, quizzes, tests, and the final exam. Homework will account for 15% of your grade, and we're going to talk more about homework on Thursday. You actually don't have access to any of your homework just yet, so Thursday you will have access to the first set of homework, and we'll talk more about this at that time. You do, however, have access to your first quiz right now. Quizzes will account for 30% of your grade in the class. Quizzes are typically open for 1 week, and you can take each quiz up to 3 times, with the best score being kept. And additionally, at the end of the term, I will drop the lowest quiz grade. So if you ever miss a quiz for any reason, it will get dropped at the end of the semester. Chapter tests are 40% of your grade in the class, and then the final is the remaining 15%. I do provide practice tests or study guides for the chapter tests and for the final, and that's something we'll talk about as the semester progresses. I am firm with due dates. However, if there are extenuating circumstances like a hospital stay, I will provide makeup work. Next talks about attendance, and I do have the right to assign an F for somebody who misses 7 or more of our class meetings, obviously not counting today because the school closed. Now, typically if somebody misses 7 or more classes of a course that only meets twice a week, they're going to earn the F on their own. If you're worried about attendance, most likely you're not somebody that rule is going to even apply to. I do want to speak about one thing with attendance, though. I understand that there are times where you need to miss class. Things happen in life. Sometimes we get sick, and especially if you are sick, please stay home. Just send me a quick email that you're not going to be in class. If you're sick with something like a stomach virus, I do not require a doctor's note. I'm going to trust you that you are sick and you stay home and get better. I feel very firmly about that, and I felt that way even pre-COVID. The rest of the syllabus I'm going to go through very, very quickly. For classroom conduct, academic integrity, don't cheat. Academic Support Center, the school offers free tutoring. The Student Opinion of Instruction Survey at the end of the semester, you can evaluate me. We'll talk about that when it gets closer. Title IX deals with discrimination. If you feel you've been discriminated against at VSU, this is going to tell you what is covered and who you need to contact. The access statement is very important. If you do have a documented disability, please, please, please see the nice, kind folks at the access office, and they can set up any accommodations that might be necessary. And then the last thing here is for counseling service. The university does offer free counseling if you or someone you know needs to speak with someone. The last page of your syllabus has the tentative schedule. Please note at the top, it might be subject to change. You can see today we've already had a change in the university schedule. We're only on the second day of classes. But this is right now what I plan to cover each day, and I do have tests marked. So you can see the Chapter 1 test right now is scheduled for the 25th of this month. I do want to point out at the end of the semester, the last week of the semester, I do have a catch-up day in there in case we ever need to push anything back, okay? And if there are changes that need to be made to the schedule, if anything does need to get pushed back, obviously it's something we'll talk about in class, and I'll post it as an announcement. So that is the syllabus in brief. I do recommend you take a couple minutes to read through that on your own. The last thing in the Start Here module is a link to the first quiz. So you do have a quiz that's open on the first day of class, but it's an easy quiz. It's an easy A, I promise you that. This quiz is in MyMathLab. So when you click on the link, it's going to take you over to the MyMathLab software. This is a 9-question quiz that's just going to be an introduction to MyMathLab and how you enter your answers in the program. You can see that it is not due until next Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. and that you can take it up to 3 times. This is not a timed quiz. You can take as much time as you need, but honestly, it should only take you 5 to 10 minutes to complete. But that is your first assignment, so you do want to make sure you get that done. Now, speaking of MyMathLab, if I go to content, you also have MyMathLab student links, and there's only a few of them here, and I'll briefly talk about them. The first one is a browser check. If you have any issues logging into MyMathLab, you can check that your browser is up to date. The only issues that I've ever seen are with Macs running Safari. For whatever reason, Safari does not play nice with a lot of the online learning software programs. At my house, we have all Macs or MacBooks, and we use Google Chrome and don't have any issues. So that would be my recommendation. If you do have a Mac, use Google Chrome versus Safari, and you should not have any issues with MyMathLab. The next link is going to take you to your assignments. Your homework and most, if not all, of your quizzes are going to be in MyMathLab. Right now, if you click All Assignments, there we go. All you have is the one assignment, that introduction quiz. As the homework is added, and you will see homework added on Thursday, you'll have more things here, but this is where you can access your MyMathLab assignments. I also will have direct links to the homework posted in BlazeView, and that's something that we'll talk about in class on Thursday. Okay, but that's all assignments. The next link you have is to the MyMathLab gradebook, and I'm not even going to click on it because there's nothing in it right now. But I want to talk about how the gradebook works. In this class, the BlazeView gradebook is going to be your most accurate grade. The BlazeView gradebook is the gradebook that I go by because it's going to incorporate all of your grades. The MyMathLab gradebook will only contain the work that you've completed in MyMathLab. Things like tests or the final exam, which are not going to be given in MyMathLab, are not going to be part of that MyMathLab gradebook. So you might be thinking to yourself, why does she even have a link to this MyMathLab gradebook? Well, the way the software works is that as you complete assignments in MyMathLab, the grades will automatically populate to the BlazeView gradebook, but it can sometimes be delayed by 12 up to 24 hours before those grades show up in BlazeView. So in the meantime, if you ever want to double check a grade, for something you've completed in MyMathLab, that's why I have that link there. The last 2 links here are for the ebook. So if you click on the Pearson eText, it will take you to a copy of our textbook. It's included in the program. You don't need to pay anything extra for it. And then the last one is the multimedia library. This has videos and animations and a few other things for material contained in the textbook. You can select a chapter and a section, and let me hit select all and hit find now, and it's going to take you to videos, interactive figures, even a PowerPoint for that section, and that's just there as an extra resource for you. So I'm going to wrap up our video very shortly here. There's a couple more things about MyMathLab, and I alluded to this earlier. I'll talk about those in class on Thursday. For now, though, let me go back to the course home. Go into your Start Here module. Take a couple minutes and read through or at least skim through that syllabus, and then go ahead and take that introduction quiz. It really and truly will only take you a few minutes to get that finished. If you have any questions at all, please email me. I will be checking email throughout the day. If for some reason if you email me and you don't hear back from me today, it might mean that our power went out or that our internet went out. But as long as I have both of those, I will be checking email and getting back to people throughout the day. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Stay safe.